It was as if the heavens had kissed the earth to sleep, that she amid her blossoms this glorious dream would keep. The wind blew over the cornfields and shook each golden ear. The forest murmured softly, the night was starry clear. My longing soul unfolded her wings to rise and roam, to over hill and wood and mountain, as if she sought her home. Those are the lyrics to an English translation of Mondnight, Moon Night, by Eichendorff, the German poet, which I memorized many years ago when I was in high school, and somehow I've remembered, with one mistake that I was able to catch, because for the hell of it, I looked it up today and found that I was using Dane instead of dare in the opening line, but we remember things incorrectly, I guess. And articles and pronouns in German are quite complicated. I mean, once you get to the point of der die, dem die, das die, that's when it gets really messed up. That's what sets it apart from English and makes English a bit easier, I would say. Whereas English has its share of problems that I should know as a teacher. But anyway, I was thinking about that poem today. I don't know, there's something about that poem that I keep remembering. And I even though I'm not going to recite it in German, I think it even sounds better in English. And I forget where I found the English translation of this poem. But it was easy for me to remember alongside the German, and one side helped me remember the other. And that's the amazing thing about poetry, and that's why I really need to make a plan to, I really need to start to pretend to procrastinate, to start learning some Vietnamese poetry. Because poetry is the easiest way to remember language, I think. I think of some Chinese poetry that I studied there, which I didn't remember that well. My original notes are gone, but I guess I still have the resources to look it up. I should learn how to recite it, but it was a beautiful Chinese poem that was in The Way of Zen by Alan Watts, Buddhist classic that everyone should read. Anyone who's interested in Buddhism, in America, of course. And it was written by a patriarch, one of the three great founders of Buddhism in China. And he writes, the body is a Bodhi tree. The mind is a mirror standing. Take care to keep it clean. Allow no dust to cling to it. And there I'm not able to remember the poem quite as well in the English that's much clearer in Alan Watts' book. But I did know it, at least the opening part of it, in Chinese at one point. But I can just remember the first line, Shen Shu, Pu Ta Shu. The body is a Bodhi tree. I think that's beautiful. And I've studied it in Chinese with Chinese friends. And it's like listening to a psalm, even though psalms weren't originally in English. Or it's like Shakespeare or something. It just sounds beautiful. It just sounds like it fits the language perfectly. And the opening lines in the Dao De Jing, Dao ke Dao, Fei Chan Dao, Ming ke Ming, Fei Chan Ming. The Dao that can be, the way that can be taken is not the eternal way. The word that can be spoken is not the eternal word, or however we translate it. However we turn those 12 beautiful syllables into something mangled and strange in our English. However, back to the Eichendorff poem, the line in the English translation, which doesn't quite fit, but it goes, the wind blew over the cornfield and shook each golden ear. Auf Deutsch, die Luft ging durch die Felder, die Ahne wirkten sagt. I'm not sure how close of a translation that is, but the idea of golden ears of corn, and the idea of golden ears in general, and the idea of listening with an ear of gold is something that I've chewed on, and something that I've extracted from this poem, and one of the reasons I've remembered it so well. The idea of listening in a golden way. It's kind of like I still have the picture on my wall from a trip I took over a year ago to Bangkok. And of course, when I was there, I went to see the Golden Buddha, which is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I've never seen that much gold. Enormous, enormous block of gold. And I took a picture of it, and with Thai writing on it, which I can't translate at all. I don't know the first thing about Thai. I don't even know how to say hello or thank you in Thai. Regrettably, I mean, I'm ashamed to admit that. But I put it on my wall because I was thinking of another saying of Thich Nhat Hanh, the monk who wrote Living Buddha, Living Christ, when he was out in Plum Village, which is a Buddhist monastery in France. And he says that in Vietnamese Buddhism, we learn that whenever you look at a Buddha, you have to acknowledge first that there is Buddha inside of you. And that's such a complete distinction from, say, Islam or even Jehovah's Witnesses, who won't use a cross. It's such a complete difference to that. It's this idea that you can, in turn, become a Buddha, and you can only look at a Buddha if you can feel yourself within it. In the same way that, he demonstrates this. I've got this right here. You've got a plant in water, right? And you have to realize that all those same elements are also within you, and you are occupying the same same space, and you are both subject to decay, and that thus you are one and the same in a very special sense. Shen Shu Pu Ta Shu, the body is a Bodhi tree. We are the things around us, and so we have to focus on the good. We have to focus on the best things. We have to listen with golden ears to every message that comes through to us. Because just like I pointed out earlier, we have 50,000 stray thoughts in our head, and we are allowed to interpret them however we want. They can take us down a path of happiness, or they can take us down a path of despair. So too must we judge every message that we are getting outside of us, everything in our feed, news feeds, everything we see on Twitter and Facebook, and on the TV if we still watch that, and on Netflix if we watch that one, and stuff that our friends talk about and stuff that's popular. We have to judge these messages and understand if we are really listening to them with a golden ear, or if we are just, if it's just shit that's coming and going, passing in and out of our heads, A rusty ear, a dead metal ear, or a wooden ear, or even a flesh ear isn't enough, man. You have to have golden ears. That's what I think.